Don't just stand there and watch me. I wish I could get him on camera, but we can't. He's under investigation. That sums you up. Yeah, as a whole. Super Crew Sean, dude. Need an ADD tool. All right, do you guys remember this thing? This is Alan's low center Jeep. If you go back and watch the episode, we finaled it the one day Alan came down with his wife. That was before he had 2 kids. This thing left us without a cage, and it left us in a raw form, no plumbing, no wiring. Obviously no coatings or assembly. Alan was gonna do it. He had a buddy. They were gonna take care of it, just kind of didn't work out. Dropped the car off to me in some pieces, some assembled. They essentially tore the whole thing down. They made some modifications to the exhaust, and then it kind of stopped. And it's up in Colorado and it rusted. Got in pretty bad shape. Alan calls, hey, it's not working out. Do you think you guys can finish this thing? Can you make it turnkey? Can you also do a cage? We had talked about doing a cage for a while, but the problem with this, or the challenge with this, is we built the whole car to have the body flex and twist around like the chassis, like the rear shock structure is floating inside the sheet metal. We didn't tie anything together because it wasn't caged. So it was gonna move on the rubber mounts. So navigating, doing a cage now, it needed to bolt on, and he wanted to be able to powder coat everything, so we needed to have like a sandwich going on where the cage structure hits in different points, and then it has, you know, another mating plate on the bottom where it captures, and then it ties down into the frame. So what we've done here is got the Jeep back, finished miscellaneous tin work. There was a cut list of some things that we just didn't have right that we had to revise, some sway bar issues, clearance issues, stuff Alan found. That when we were building it the first time was just not optimal. So we got all that stuff right, and then it was boom, okay, make the cage. Alan had some particular expectations here. One of them was stock seatbelts, stock dash, AC working, soft top being able to, the factory soft top being able to work with a different cage, this thing being able to unbolt and bolt in, wanting to be able to powder coat the frame, you know, so that right there, being able to powder coat the frame means this thing can't be landlocked with a body unless we're gonna do everything. So those were some design navigating challenges, all good. We're really behind on an update with this. This truck has also, I don't know if suffered is the word, but it's had to go through the peak of our moving from facility to facility. We had Alex. Alex was my finisher with all these cars. I love Alex like a brother. He honed in his fab skills, but what he really was good at and he excelled at was the plumbing and the final assembly and like finishing. So any of the cars that we take out to test, I trusted him with everything. I could get in them and we could test them right off the bat. And I didn't bat an eye because he nailed it, he killed it. Alex, I love you. Alex stayed and see me. And what we did while we were moving is we wanted to just hang on to him putting this together because we were in the throes of assembly on this thing. The way to look at assembly and what's happened here is if you have a puzzle and you get the box, and on the cover, it has the image of the puzzle you're supposed to produce. That is what Alex had because he took it all down, and then he started putting it all back together, you know, and that puzzle was something he had. Alex kind of had the recipe of how to put this thing together, and he did as much as we could. So while we were moving, literally Alex was just there, and he helped get some loads, and then towards the end, he was just working on Alan's Jeep while people were literally moving the entire shop out. And he held on to everything, and even when we were down here, I still had Alex working up there multiple weeks to get this thing to a spot where it needed to be, where we felt good about it. But there's still a ton of stuff. It's more complex than a normal pre-runner that we've done because of the systems, electronic systems, four-wheel drive systems, accessories. It's a lot of vehicle in a small package. So right now, that's where we're at. We're in the throes of this thing. Most of the wiring is done. There's Chrysler stuff that has to talk to GM stuff. There's plugs that don't know what they're doing. It's a very interesting thing. It's not as simple as a Holley and a custom harness. It's not as simple as Motec and a harness and programming. It's tiers above that as far as complexity. So right now, you know, there's wiring going on. Some of the ECUs are out getting flashed, and then final assembly is going on. Some other requests that we did is we upgraded to seats. We have PRP seats in here. They are a reclining seat, more of a comfy, non-bolstered side deal. Great for Jeep stuff because you got to get in and out all the time. We added child seat brackets back here. They're not shown. They're just like the clip-in style for a car seat that go into the PRP seats. So you can clip 2 car seats in here safely, and you know, same standards as you would anything else. Retaining the stock seat belts, same deal. Line Xing, all this stuff. We had to put a bed liner in here. We thought we were gonna run the carpet. It was a disaster because there's so much custom stuff in here. Just didn't make sense. There was holes everywhere. So now we've lined all this in-house. It's came out great. I have DJ Fitch, who is I would say an expert level prep guy, finaling this with us. It's been a gift to have him now because the confidence is back with knowing this car's gonna be right out of the box. Getting everything square and true, torqued, solid. Well, we didn't do an intro update on this ever when it came back. So you'll have to just catch up through a lot of the B-roll. If you guys have questions about this one especially, let us do a whole nother episode on what you see that you have questions about. A lot of this stuff is our traditional signature work. You know, these handles, just like on the Bronco, they've turned into a thing that is not a vent hole, that's a tap for the soft top bracket. But all of this is our traditional stuff. There's a lot of good little wins with bracketry. Same with the seat mounts, same with the gusseting. You know, it's very typical of how we do a cage. So the only difference is, now if you look in here, Joe, like everywhere where a tube lands, there's gnarly standoffs. And that's what we had to do. We stripped it all, and then literally simply, you know, stripped the frame down, took the whole frame, powder coated the frame, powder coated the cage, put the body back on. We Line X'd everything in here. Well, we didn't Line X, we sprayed it ourselves, but it's really good shit. I actually like it now. Did the whole body and then put heat insulation on the inside tunnel, put everything back. So, you know, we're probably 2 weeks from this being ready to start and test, and then we'll bring it up and dyno it, and we'll have Alan come down here, and we'll definitely get some footage of it driving. I have some pretty good trail right here. So maybe I can scumbag Alan into going on some of the trail and going up in the rocks. And that would be the best way to finish this. Kudos to Alan. Thank you, Alan. Alan's been, you know, he was one of my original clients. This is a complete build we did. And, you know, look at it and, you know, I don't think it gets the recognition of how intense the fabrication is on this thing. We front half this thing, literally cut the whole front off, reconfigured all the frame, all box chrome poly plate, upside down bump stops, inboard shocks, like under here, the cradle under here, and all the exhaust and everything. The packaging on this has presented challenges that are not normal for building our two-wheel drive stuff. Making that straight axle sway and making it articulate and clear everything is a force multiplication of challenges. So I'm super grateful we have this, and it's been a great truck. I would never take on a Jeep unless it was something that made sense. And Alan, when he first proposes, he's like, I want a low center Jeep. It's got to sit low, and I want to have 42s on walkers and this and that. And I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And so we've built this just like we would if it was an MCD1 Jeep, which it is. And I don't know if I'd do one any other way than how Alan has done it. It's been super helpful also to have a client like that, because his input, this is not my wheelhouse. Again, I don't have the ego to think that I know how to do everything. And when I don't, I reach out to people that do. And same with Alan. Alan went into it knowing he wanted a Jeep the way that we build stuff and design stuff, but he also knew that he was going to be there to help navigate some of the challenges or the expectations with the Jeep. So this is the low center Jeep. It's back. It's in a really good spot. It's going to be sick. It's all black everything. It's going to be loud and nasty and low, and I can't wait to show you guys the next step.